Hello. So my name is Teneha Brown, CEO and founder of VagiPlug. Our space is that of vaginal health and wellness, and everyone in this room is familiar with vaginas. You're either one of three people. Either you came out of one, you have one, or you're trying to get into one. At any rate, you are familiar with the topic that we're going to be talking about. So today we're actually going to be talking about mentorship. Get thee a mentor is what I entitled my talk. So let me tell you a little story about something that happened to me. At the inception of my company, starting my company, I knew that funding was going to be an issue. I knew that funding was going to be a challenge that I needed to broach. So I listened and I talked, and someone told me, they said, get a napkin and go to a bank, and they'll fund you. And I'm like, well, hey, maybe this will work. So I tried it. I went to a bank, and I talked to a banker. So let me be honest, I didn't actually write my idea on a napkin, but after I talked to him and told him what someone told me, we both had a hearty laugh. And he said, yeah, no, that's not the way this works. So what he did do was he gave me some very great information about business funding, business acumen, and the questions that I needed to ask. Additionally, he told me, he said, at this phase in your business, it might be advantageous for you to get an investor. So I said, okay, that's good information. So I stored that information in the back of my head for a rainy day. So 6 months later, we know this is New Orleans, and it was raining, okay? A friend of mine called and said, hey, I have a guy that is a friend of mine, and he actually is an investor. He invests in the technology in your area. So I said, okay, that's fine. Let's, have a talk. He actually already had invested in a male incontinence invention. So I said, okay, this is in my wheelhouse. I said, yes, this is what that banker was talking about. Here we go. So we started to talk. We had a conversation. Everything went well. All of our conversations were great. We had follow-up actions. We had action items that I needed to do and things like that. No problem. So the next thing you know, he's like, yeah, well, we can do this. I'm like, okay, fine, this is great. He even went so far as to sign an NDA, which is unheard of for an investor. That's a non-disclosure agreement. That basically says he won't talk about my idea to anyone else but me. So that was great. We chatted, we talked. He even talked about flying me out to the facility, the factory where the invention was being made. So this was great. I'm like, yes, I'm in like Flynn. So we finally had one final conversation. And in this conversation, he basically asked me, I don't remember exactly the question, but he said, do you want the money or the mentorship? I'm a red-blooded startup engineer. I said, show me the money, okay? We finished our conversation. All was well. Action items ended as we normally do. So a couple weeks later, I reached out to him. I called him. No answer. I texted him. No response. I emailed him. Nothing. He basically ghosted me, y'all. So I even thought, I said, well, listen, I'm going to get some messenger pigeons and send them out because, he's not responding to anything that I do. So I finally had to break down and get the mutual friend to reach out to him to find out what may have happened. What, did I say something wrong? Did I do something? The mutual friend came back and said, yeah, he's fine, he's well, but he didn't tell me why he stopped communicating with you. So now I'm puzzled. I'm wondering. I'm just stopping, thinking on all the conversations. Did I say something that was wrong? Did I talk too much about vaginas? What was it? What did I do? So finally, Holy Spirit quickened me and said that the reason that he ghosted me was because when he asked me the question, did I want the money or the mentorship, I selected the money. And the bad thing about that, or the reason that I got ghosted, was because I placed no value in the mentorship. So he didn't know what was going to happen with the money. I thought in my mind's eye, I was like, listen, if he gives me this money, I'm going to take it. I can find a mentor. I don't need, to any kind of rigorous, training or anything of that nature as far as mentorship. But that actually wasn't the case. Because what I would have done with that money was I would have utilized it for things that were not important, i.e. branding, marketing, to bring on an employee. What was important at that stage of my business was that I be mentored, that I make sure that foundation was laid, that I make sure that I did a SWOT analysis, that I make sure to do customer discovery, to make sure that this product actually was a viable product. and I would not have done that. Instead, as I stated, I was going to market and brand it. So what did I learn from that? I learned that you have to value mentorship over the money, that a mentor can help you to avoid pitfalls and common mistakes that he or she may have made. They've been there. They've done that. They have the T-shirt and the experience. They can help you to avoid the things that you might run into. Mentorship is not just about having someone to talk to. It's about having someone that'll basically hold your hand and say, hey, let's try it this way. Or what if we try it this way? Or I've done it this way and it didn't work. So how about we go this way? Mentorship is important. It is the lifeblood of entrepreneurship. You can't be too big or too small of a business to have mentorship. I read an old adage one day that said, your net work is your net worth. Let that sink in. So at this point, I have mentored up so hard until I have a mentor for every aspect of my life. I have a financial mentor. I have a spiritual mentor. I even have a group of mentors here from Tulane University Innovative Institute, might I add. Shameless plug. We talk about all things as it pertains to my business, and sometimes we get off track a little bit, but it still is great to have someone that's there that can listen to my ideas, help me to field things, help me to figure out what may or may not go right, what could possibly go wrong. These folks have been there, they have done it. I even have a mentor that's a part of Shark Tank, and I am pleased as pie about that. So currently, my push to you is just to get a mentor. If you don't have one, it's very important that you just stop what you're doing in the midst of it all and just find you someone that can listen to what you have to say, someone that will push you in the right direction to help you to fuel your future and to help your business to grow. Mentors are important. It's almost as though if you don't have a mentor, that's a joke, because you have no one that you can go to say, hey, what do you think about that? Because mom and dad are going to tell you, yeah, that's a great idea. We love it, but is it practical? Have you done the research? Have you gone into the field to even see if this is something that may be a viable product? So if you don't remember anything else from this talk on today, first thing, remember vaginas are important and they need funding, okay? And the second thing is to remember, if you don't have one, get a mentor. Thank you.